serving in Afghanistan, Duncan D. Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
He has made the same request that I've made. We didn't talk about this, but as being a soldier on the ground, he asked that. And my attitude is that I know a lot of people love to take shots at doing this, but it's just like giving the National Guard the satellite capability to be able to spot our fires. We darn well better be willing to give our troops on the ground what they ask. Or why should congressmen even go and talk to the troops on the front line if it isn't a way to be able to get through the red tape, get through the bureaucracy, and try to deliver what the guys on the front line. And the two big projects I really think we need to do for our fighting men and women is give them as many Predators and Global Hawks and everything else in the sky, and reduce the weight of armor. We got to reduce the armor that they're carrying. Those are my two goals, and I'll do whatever I can to get that equipment to them.
So what's on the agenda for today, Congressman?
Well, I guess we've got to take a look at this budget.
You've got a little budget problem here.
We've got a budget that's proposing to double the deficit in 1 year.
Yeah, what number are we looking at here now? I heard all kinds of numbers this morning, anything from $9 trillion over the next 4 years to $2 or $3 trillion. What number are you hearing?
We're getting so far into trillions. Let's just say right now that we're looking at least $2 trillion, going from $1 trillion to $2 trillion.
Yeah.
And my problem is that I still say we got into this mess by people individuals taking on more debt that they can handle. What makes us think that the federal government do the same thing? And I understand the president's got all kinds of things he'd like to do, but I just got to tell you, there are a whole lot of stuff in this budget that has nothing to do with our crisis. The president's proposing that this will do something for 20 years from now. Well, that's fine, Mr. President, but let's get through. Let's make sure the ship doesn't sink right now, and then we can rehab it, we can redesign it, we can do all the neat things you want. But right now, to use this crisis as an excuse to do a whole lot of other things that have nothing to do with this crisis, I think is inappropriate. And you're going to see a lot of people, Democrats and Republicans, are going to have real problems with this budget.
Yeah,
in fact,
Democrats are chiming in as well.
Major opposition from Democrats because they know they got to go home and try to explain this. And just saying that the president for it is not going to work. They saw it didn't work for the Republicans with George Bush. It's not going to work even with this very popular president that we have today.
Timothy Geithner, the Treasury Secretary, wants more power to rein in the companies and to control the money. Is regulation the answer here?
Well, it's a lot more the answer than just writing blank checks the way we have. So, yeah, I think, like I said, Senator, I think there's a very positive attitude among most Republicans that the administration now is finally proposing something that may help to work our way out. But again, this is a huge amount of power. You know, we're talking about giving these guys power to go in and take over businesses and basically nationalize these businesses based on the assumption that we need to liquidate their assets. And this is where the political thing becomes really hot. You have a political appointee who will now have an authority to take over businesses. And that's why this is, even though there's a positive attitude about it, it's very scary.
It's frightening. I mean, look at the job they've done so far. What
did you think about the reporter question to the president last night about his delayed outrage to AIG and the bonuses that were given out, and what the president said in response to that, which was basically he just needed time to process the information?
Look, Senator, this has been a question that was made a couple weeks ago when this came out. Who knew? When did they know? Who did they tell? And why wasn't the public informed earlier? I think anybody who watched knew that reporter hit a nerve, and the president is not real comfortable talking about this. And I think that his answer that he wanted to wait to find out what he knew about it, when he finally did come to public and said there's a problem here, he admitted he really didn't understand it even 2 days later. So I think it hit a nerve. Look, everybody makes mistakes. And yeah, I think the biggest problem is a lot of people thought that this president was going to somehow be able to step into the office and create miracles, even though he had never been in executive office before. And now just because he's wavering and stumbling some, they think that, oh, my God, what's going on? I think this is the problem of having expectations so high that no one can live up to it. And I think a lot of supporters got to understand that he's still a man. He's a young man with not a lot of government experience, and he's learning while he goes along. And these stumbles are going to happen.
Yeah, nobody has a magic wand. That is for darn sure. I think we're all really realizing that. Congressman Brian Bilbray, thank you so much for all your time.
No problem, Dan.
We do appreciate that.